up until the Kimberley mines were discovered in South Africa in the 18th and 19th centuries, India, especially Golconda, was the only known source of diamonds in the world. All the diamonds that existed in royal houses that are predating the Kimberley mines in South Africa were all originating from India, mostly from the grand ancient minings from Golconda, which is in the Deccan in central India. I want you to register that for a second. All the diamonds of the world ever found up until a couple of hundred years ago were all from India. Today, India accounts for 90% of the world's diamond processing and polishing industry to the tune of $18 to $19 billion a year. 90%. The diamonds don't come from India, but they are mostly processed in India. But there is a diamond value chain, and some people might know about it, that all the low-end backup jobs happen in this country, but the high-value deals and trades all happen primarily in places like Amsterdam. Now, as we speak, India's Prime Minister has inaugurated the world's largest office building. It at 67 lakh square feet of space in a plot of 34 acres, it now overtakes the Pentagon as the world's largest integrated office building. It's going to house 4,500 diamond polishers and dealers. It's going to have its own safe houses, its own safes, its own customs clearance, and jewelry shops, shopping malls in one spot in Surat. It's going to be even bigger than the Diamond Bourse in Mumbai. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now emerging into the era of lab-grown diamonds, which means that in the coming years and decades, for all purposes, both aesthetic, jewelry, and industrial purposes, India has the potential to not only be the leading polisher and cutter, but the leading diamond producer, trader, and capture all parts of its value chain. We are here and we intend to now go for it. Let me open up this conversation on this clear statement of intent. Dr. Jayjeet Bhattacharya joining us. He's President for the Center for Digital Economy Policy Research. Akash Jindal is with us, and Himanshu Bhatt joining us on the broadcast as well. Dr. Bhattacharya, let me begin with you. Now, there are various points of consideration. We can talk about the office building per se and why it's the biggest and the grandest. But that's interesting. What is really important is the statement of intent. When we talk about places in China, that you go one place and name the electronic in the world, it's all there in one spot. You can walk the streets and pick up parts in half an hour to make the latest iPhone. What is the statement of intent that has just come out of this village near Surat?
Let me go back to the first time that Prime Minister Modi became the Chief Minister of Gujarat more than 2 decades back, when we were there to meet him to discuss about digital and about IT. He had to then explain what we were telling to other people in his cabinet and his coterie. And he said, look, when you go to Lakshmi Bazaar, you get all the textiles and everything at one place. And that's what we need to do. So what the diamond, the bourse and the buildings kind of reflect is the Prime Minister's thought process, which he had for over 2 decades, that there needs to be concentration of industry, which then states the intent of what the set of people want to do. And therefore, resonating what you just said, Rishabh, that if anybody wants to have anything to do with diamond, they will perforce come down to this particular office complex, which is the biggest in the world. As you also mentioned, Antwerp seems to be running away with 84% of the trade of the rough cuts, whereas all the grunt work is being done in Surat. It is quite natural that where the grunt work is done is where the trade should happen. And even though we have been suffering a little bit of a downturn because of the global conflicts, the rough cuts not coming from Russia and so on and so forth, we are still maintaining a very healthy industry, and we are the backbone of the diamond industry globally. So it is a natural progression for us to move into the higher value of trade, which is into the diamond industry, which is actually trading the finished diamonds and trading the rough cuts and so on and so forth, and not just doing the cutting and polishing, which is also an important component, but that gives us the toehold to get into the larger industry. In order to do that, which is the trading of not just diamonds but entire gems and jewelry, which is a extremely large industry globally, such an office complex gives the statement of intent. On top of it, if you look at the connectivity that's happening between Surat and Mumbai, between Surat and all other cities, there's excellent set of connectivities coming up and has already come up. It's not even something in process; it's already there. Therefore, the safety and security needed again, to manage the diamonds, the safe houses needed, all of the infrastructure has come up in one single place. So if anybody anywhere has to do anything to do with diamonds, they have to come down to Surat, to this particular building complex, and efficiently get that trade done.
Okay.
That's what
So as I mentioned at the beginning of the telecast, 90% of the world's diamonds are cut and polished right here in India. Okay? But have a look at these statistics. 85% of the world's rough diamonds, 50% of the world's polished diamonds, and 40% of the industrial diamonds are traded in Antwerp, in the Antwerp Diamond District, with an annual turnover of $54 billion. Okay? So as Jayjeet pointed out, all the work is done in India, but the value add, which is in the trading and the setting and the selling, is happening in Antwerp. Well, guess what? Guess what? This is now the place to come to. This is the place to be. Now let me get Abhijit Bhatt into this conversation first. Abhijit ji, fundamentally, we all know that the diamantiers of Gujarat are some of the best in the business, in fact, are the best in the business. They do everything, and they are perfectly competent tradesmen. A world message needs to be sent that the headquarters is no longer Antwerp, it is now Surat. Have we sent that message out today?
Loud and clear. Let me tell you something. I am sitting here in Surat for the full day. I have witnessed certain things. I'll tell you a couple of things. Number one, the total diamond trade transacted from Surat, cut and polished, is 2 lakh crores. Nearly 1.5 or 1.6 lakh crores come in, 2 lakh crore value addition goes out. That is what you make. With this SDB, Surat Diamond Bourse, we are expecting that more than 126 countries are going to transact from here, are going to operate from here. So it's really going to be an international cluster. And we are expecting the trade to go up to 2.5 to 3 lakh crores in a year's time. There are 4,700 shops and more than 1,000 are internationally renowned companies. Another thing, what we are talking about SDB here, there I tell you, see what's happening is rough and cut and polished diamonds and other things, we hold the sway. But as far as gems and jewelry is concerned, still in global market, India's share is 3.5%. PM today in his speech also said, Narendra Bhai said this, we like that to be double digit. And to make it a double digit, you have to have everything in a single house. One-stop shop. That is what we are talking about. And that is what the STB will prove to be. And for that, even Union Cabinet today, you might be aware that Union Cabinet has made Surat Airport an international airport. 2 international flights connectivity to Dubai and Hong Kong has started from today. There was just a single flight to Sharjah previous to this. Now, we will have 3 flights at 3 different spots, and maybe a few more will come up. But what we are foreseeing here is, this gems and jewelry business has a huge scope to grow. And in this STB, you are going to have a large number of jewelry manufacturers coming and sitting here. Along with that, you add that to a man-made diamond, which is purely done here.
Yeah.
Because what Narendra Bhai gave to First Lady
Yeah,
of
Joe
US,
Biden's wife, yes.
yes, that was a 7 carat man-made diamond made in Surat. Now that costed nearly 20% of the original diamond's value. That cheap the man-made diamond is. So this gems and jewelry, which uses this quite in large numbers, is going to benefit out of this.
Okay. So now we are talking about a thought through attempt. Okay. You link this up with the gift city, for example, okay, which is also coming up near here near Ahmedabad. So now let me get Akash Jindal into this conversation. Akash Jindal, we have traditional business and industrial strength in the country. It's not like we were born yesterday, okay, some khandar was operating. It is just that our talents, our efforts, much like the efforts of a farmer, if you leave it at the lowest end of the value chain, you are doing all the work, all the skilled work is happening by your people, and somebody else is capturing the largest part of the value chain. Now, there is no reason that you can't even cut the diamonds, but also design them and create the Tiffany's and the other jewelry brands of the world. We came close, but unfortunately, you know what happened with the scandals that took place. We need to get past them and now capture the value chain.
Very right, Rishabh. In fact, this is what India required. India always had the talent, skill, enterprise, craftsmanship. We always had that. We have been conventionally known for diamonds and jewelry. We had all the talent, but what was required was infrastructure and a catalyst who could mobilize everything, put it to the world, showcase it to the world that yes, India is there with full strength. So I think these are things like this. What Narendra Modi government has done is not only in diamond, I'll take it to a bigger canvas, in all other areas where we had skill, we had enterprise, we had talent, we had craftsmanship. They have given them the platforms, infrastructure. They have been the government has been catalyst for growth. That is what India required. See, Indians, we know, we have been going to US, acting in top management, Fortune 500 companies. In all of the skills, Indians have been very successful, but
okay.
India,
so that was going to be my next point. Okay. Now 70%, Akash Jindal, you know this, I know this, everybody in the world knows this. 70% of the biggest startup companies operating out of Silicon Valley have an Indian in their C-suite. So either the CFO, CTO, CEO is an Indian. 70%. The only difference is that the capital, the headquarters is based out of the US. So the talent is ours, the effort is ours, the enterprise is ours, the genius is coming out of India. But because the headquarters happens to be in San Francisco, so that captures the largest part of the value chain. Now, how importantly have we learned the lesson of being the go-to place? That if I want to be a tech entrepreneur, where do I go? I go to Silicon Valley right now. If I want to be a tech manufacturer, I go to Shenzhen. You want to be the go-to place. Are we getting that into our mindset finally?
yes, that's where I was coming on. That San Francisco, the S would be the same. Perhaps the S would start with, the word would be Surat. Now for tech, perhaps Gurugram or Noida, Bengaluru, that are going to be the places. For many other places, because it was Indian. See, when you are talking about startup, that's where I wanted to come to. Startup, see, all the talent is Indian. So successful in startups, so many Indian companies becoming unicorns, getting funded from abroad, getting respect and recognition. But the only thing, this government has given us platform, this government has given us infrastructure, this government has given us motivation, and brand India is becoming much.
Okay, all right. So let me get Dr. Jaijit into this. Dr. Jaijit, we as a at a governance level understanding the very well proven concepts, not only of the economies of scale, but of the network effect, that we are now seeing these things in action?
Absolutely. For example, let me take this small example that we kind of emptied out the small diamond mines in Australia. We were the largest consumers. 95% would come to us, like in Surat, and they would polish and send it out. Those entire set of small diamond mines have got finished and we have consumed it. But it leads to the next level or next set of diamonds, which is lab-grown diamonds, which is coming in. And when we have more skilled workers at one place, we have got we end up getting more connectivity. Entire economy starts getting dependent on that particular place. Then automatically the next technology, the next customer, the next design of jewelry, all of that starts coming to the same place because the cost becomes lower and lower. And every time a new trader or a new exporter gets added, the total value of that ecosystem keeps going up and keeps going up in an exponential manner, which is exactly what you shared, Rishabh, is the network effect. And that's what's going to happen in this Surat office, where because of the sheer size of this office, the Lakshmi Bazaar effect will happen. I'll just use the words that our Prime Minister had used, where you send a signal that this is the place where all textiles and related material are being sold. So if you need textiles, you have to come to Lakshmi Bazaar. If you need diamonds or anything to do with diamonds, you have to come to this bazaar in Surat.
So this is the scalar level of thinking. Why is London called the financial capital? What is Dubai trying to achieve? I was recently in Dubai and I realized that, yes, the infrastructure is nice, but the roads are not as wide as there in New Delhi. Why is there so little traffic? Is it just because it's better organized? Then it sunk into me that the reason there's almost no traffic, both coming in, going out, traveling around Dubai, is because there are no trucks. As soon as you step out after 9 p.m. in Delhi, you are choked with trucks, the movement of goods, because production is happening here. The only thing they're producing out of Dubai, well, a little bit of oil out of Abu Dhabi, is services. Now, this is an important consideration for us over here. Now, let me take it up a step forward. Jayjeet, I just mentioned lab-grown diamonds. Okay, in 2022, the biggest lab-grown diamond was grown out of Surat, 30 carats. They beat the record in 2023 at 50 carats. It's called the Shipra diamond. It's the world's largest lab-grown diamond, and it's made by a company known as Ethereal Green. 50 carats, flawless, lab-grown diamond. So now we are thinking very realistically that right next to the plot on this Surat Bourse should now germinate the world's largest lab-grown diamond manufactory.
If I quote IIT Madras, they coined a term called diamondtronics, which is the combination of the whole technology of lab-based diamonds and the electronics related to it. So when we start talking about lab-based diamonds, it's not just the production, Rishabh, but also the entire research along with it that is needed. So today it's 50 carats. Tomorrow it may go up to 100 carats. And do keep in mind that diamond is used not just for jewelry, but also for many electronics applications, many drilling applications, industrial applications, and so on and so forth. So if you're able to produce very cheap diamonds using these technology, which typically are called the black diamonds, when they're mined diamonds, these are called black diamonds because they're not used for jewelry. But imagine, if you can create these cheap diamonds also for the industrial purposes, as well as for the high-grade jewelry, and the entire supply chain of research, technology, creation of the machines, production, all of that starts getting concentrated at one area. That will be, will lead to an explosion of innovation happening.
Okay. So, Abhijit ji, I'll leave the last word with you, okay, on this thought. Now, I've just spelled it out, okay. It is not a leap of imagination, okay, to say that bilkul bagal mein, agle plot mein, take another 40, 50, 100 acres and build the world's largest diamond manufacturing center for lab-grown diamonds. We are already in the lead. Now, hammer it home.
It can happen. The reason for that, I'll tell you very frankly. It's actually called a dream city. And Surat Diamond Bourse is a part of it. That's 35 acres is being developed as a Surat Diamond Bourse. Whereas this whole project is called a Dream City. And that has been governed properly with SPVs by state government. I will not be surprised in 6 months' time you will find that announcement. And I'm not even surprised even today now, right now. There are people who are having their shops in among these 4,700 shops who deal in lab-grown diamonds.
No, so I'm saying take it, sir. Literally, machine खड़ी कर दो जैसे दुनिया ने ना देखी हो. Okay, बगल वाले plot
It can
में.
happen.
Okay,
It
make
can
the
happen.
Jamshedpur of 100 years ago right next to this. So the largest trading facility, the largest manufacturing facility, all next to each other.
The largest manufacturing facility, what you are talking about, you already have
Yes.
in Surat, the manufacturing facilities in plenty. It is a question of starting one which is very huge next to this STP.
Which is specializing in lab grown diamonds.
Specializing in
So
lab-grown
now
diamonds.
think about it, 90% of the world's lab grown diamonds coming out of India. This should be the scale of vision. We can finally see it panning out. So please circulate this as imagination of what can be and is becoming. Fabulous. Thank you, gentlemen.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.